And hello and welcome to, yes, hello and welcome to SiGNAL Radio. Yay! Woohoo! We're back.
Yes, back again.
Back for more bad banter and business news.
That's
And
it.
talk about the local community. How you doing? How you doing,
Yes,
Gareth?
yeah, not too bad. I can't believe it's been another week already. I don't even know who I am anymore at the moment. I swear the days have just all turned into one big blur.
I noticed that you've
Yeah,
sorted out the rug.
yeah, it's all been shaved off.
Oh, lockdown chic now.
Yeah, it was just getting too long and untamely, so I was like, yeah, just get it done. Get
I
it
think
done.
sales of product have been going up. I think it's all nicely held in.
Yeah, so yeah, we're using concrete at the moment.
Yeah, mixing up the polyfiller, spraying it on. So, do you know what today is? I know
No,
today is Tuesday. I know Tuesday, right? I've got a calendar. I've got a phone. I know it's Tuesday. But do you know what National Day it is?
absolutely no idea.
National Fudge Day.
That is a good day.
Yeah.
That is a very good day. I'm gonna have to eat some fudge.
Sales of fudge spike.
Yep, that's
and,
it.
we know why.
Oh, that is a good national day.
We tried making fudge at home once. It was a lovely toffee sauce. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it's a difficult
Fine
one.
art.
Yeah,
a
it
fine
is.
art. There's a lot of stirring. I remember there was a thermometer involved, which I found bizarre, but you know, my wife went for it.
Baking is a science. It's not just cooking, it is a science.
It's a science.
It's a
science.
science.
It's an art, and it's a skill.
It is. It is.
In my research for this show, I found National Fudge Day. I thought you'd be interested in that. But there's also two other national days. And I couldn't work out whether or not these were just American or they were international or what they were. But I'm going to mention them anyway because, you know, why give fudge the top billing
Exactly.
when it's also National Fresh Veg Day? This is a
I,
show of balance.
It is. I was going to say you have your healthy snack and your treat for eating your healthy snack.
Exactly. You got your lunch and you got your pudding.
Exactly. Happy days.
Eating your 5 a day and finishing it off with your pound of fudge.
Only a pound.
I was talking in weight.
Yeah, no, me too.
Fair enough. And the other one was, and I looked, I had to double check this because the first time I read it, I thought it didn't say what it said, but it's Arborists Appreciation Day, and I read it as Arsonists Appreciation Day. Completely different day. Completely different day.
That's tomorrow.
So yes, it's Arborist Appreciation Day, appreciating those who appreciate trees.
Oh, so I had no idea what one of those was.
Philistine. So if that affects you, if you like fudge, if you like fresh veg, and you like trees, today's your day. So maybe go out, take a picnic of fresh veg and fudge, and sit under your favourite tree and enjoy the shade of the branches. It's a nice day out there.
It is a very nice day, I must say. Considering it's meant to rain, I've not seen the rain yet.
Yeah, we're going to try and have lunch out on the patio. Fingers crossed, because we tried that the other day, and I'm just saying that the umbrella saved us from getting wet.
Well, it is English summertime, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, liquid sunshine.
Yeah, that's it.
So, big news yesterday. Big news. The high street has reopened.
Yes, it has.
I saw a man walking along with, you know, those big Primark bags, the big kind of cardboardy type ones?
Yeah.
He had 2 of those. Do you think he'd sat at home for like 12 and a half weeks going, when Primark opens, I am going on such a big spending spree. I need 400 t-shirts. I need 30 pairs of jeans.
Isn't that's what I'm doing on lockdown? I'm planning all the stuff I can go out and buy.
But, you know, if you needed stuff that badly, there's always like other high street retailers that would deliver to you. I'm sure
True.
Primark was still selling stuff online. I can't imagine they would have shut that off. I don't know. I'm not a shopper of the Primarché.
Oh, good old Primani.
Yeah. But it's good to see some kind of normality coming back, and there's certainly a lot more traffic on the roads. I've certainly experienced some road rage with other people. Just seem like really intent on getting to where they're going really quickly.
Yeah, it's like the school holidays. When the school holidays hits, the traffic goes down to nothing and you think, bliss. And then everyone goes back to school. It's basically that kind of situation again. You know, it's the back to school vibe.
But I just want to cover off one pet peeve and we'll get our guest on.
Okay.
So, one pet peeve is I get the mask thing. I understand the mask thing.
Okay.
I appreciate people's want to protect themselves, protect others, and wear a mask.
Yep.
But if you're alone in a car, why would you be wearing a mask? I know, it's bizarre, isn't it? I've seen so many people. Is it that they've forgotten they've got light glasses? They've forgotten they've got the mask on?
Maybe.
One small bugbear on top of that is when I have got a mask on, it fogs up my glasses. So if somebody could invent a mask that when you breathe into it, it doesn't shoot up hot air onto your glasses and steam them up, I would really appreciate that. So budding inventors,
just get one of the ones that stick close to your face.
What, with a bit of double-sided sticky tape?
Yeah, just
that's what I need.
Yeah, just put some of that on
across my face.
Yeah, be fine.
Look like Adam Ant from the 1980s. There's a throwback gag. There is a throwback gag. All right, enough of my ramblings. Who have we got on the show today? Gareth?
Well, today we have someone who's been involved in SiGNAL quite a lot.
Yeah.
Was the manager of the Future Skills Centre, or is, should I say, but has been promoted.
Expanded portfolio.
I know. So his official title, I had to write this down, is Head of Construction at Basingstoke College of Technology.
Woohoo!
He is the one and only Steve Gilder.
Come on in, Steve. Come and join us. There he is.
Hello.
Hello. You're on mute. There, you're off mute. That's fantastic.
Hello, guys. Hello, Stuart. Hello, Gareth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
That is
yes, challenging times, but all good. Thank you very much.
That is a fancy chair you're sitting in.
Yeah, I'm not sitting on my bed, so don't give any illusion that I'm sitting on my bed. I have got an oversized throne to sit in based on my new promotion.
Perfect.
I'm glad they're looking after you. I really am.
Yeah.
So, Steve.
Yes.
Tell people what you do and how you do it, and we'll ask some questions.
Well, can I just pick up? I was listening, Stuart. Can I just pick up on your national days?
Yes,
before we go
please do. Yeah.
I've got a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, both boys. Now we've got two big no's. No from their perspective on the fresh vegetables, and no from my perspective on the fudge, because that's just coloured sugar.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're still in sort of slight restrictions with them not being at school, so I'm no way going to give my 7 and 10-year-olds any fudge.
So basically, it's just going out and appreciating trees then.
Yeah.
Well, being the head of construction, I've always liked the more practical subjects, and I like the subjects that traditionally people don't like. So I like physics, I like math. So I tend to be more, I want to put in, but I expect an answer to come out again. My wife's much more spiritual than I, and she's always talking about having this affinity with trees. So I didn't know it was National Arborist Day. I didn't know the word either. So I will let my wife know so we can talk trees, because she's always got this affinity with trees. So 3 really important days there, but 2 I'm going to ignore, 1 I'm going to take up.
Well, trees are useful in construction, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a hot topic with regards to how we use resources. So yeah, in certain parts of the world they use their natural resources and they replace them. So in Scandinavian countries, they obviously have used timber and timber structures for thousands of years, and it's less that we do in the more Western world. But because of the climate and because of how we produce concrete and how we produce bricks, and natural resource materials is certainly becoming more of a hot topic and something that we are trying to incorporate more in our buildings in the future.
Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
a church in Norway, I believe it is, that is nearly 1,000 years old, completely wooden.
Wow.
Obviously,
Incredible.
there are. If you build something out of concrete, it's probably not going to burn down, and you're probably not going to have any issues with infestation through insects, etc. But if you treat it well and you look after it, and it's a beautiful material to work with, and everybody that comes into the FSC or in the carpentry workshops at BCOT, they always say, "Oh, that smells lovely. It takes me right back." But when they walk into the brick workshop, they don't say, "Oh, that smells lovely. I love brick." So it's that, I think somewhere along the lines, it's that DNA, it's that affinity with a natural material. I mean, when we smell like a wood fire or something like that, we think, "Oh, that smells lovely." I think it goes back over thousands of years of how we've used wood in the past. So I'm all for it. I think it's a lovely building material, and it helps the environment. So yes,
No, 100%.
involved in it.
You mentioned the FSC there. That's the Future Skills Centre in Bordon.
Yes.
I know your portfolio has expanded, but when we first saw you talk and spoke to you, you spoke with such passion and engagement in your topic as being the applying, those skills to a younger generation. Maybe you could talk about the skills, you've just touched on it there, that you teach, and why you're so passionate about that.
Well, I think we at BCOT and at the FSC, we do offer courses that could apply to the range of learners. So we do go into the lower level on the vocational. So we can take the basics with becoming a plumber or a carpenter or bricklayer. We obviously offer the apprentices in those routes as well. But we also offer courses in the technical and professional. So moving up to levels 4 and 5 and then into university. I mentioned before we came on air that I've been involved in construction since I was 17. So I'm a pipe fitter welder a million years ago. So I served a 4-year apprenticeship in my hometown of Coventry a million years ago.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do well at school. So I was quite a typical case of going into construction. Didn't do particularly well at school. Fell into construction because my dad said you need a trade and you'd always be working. I did that for 7 years. And then I started to think, maybe, and the more I learned about the sector, the more I realised it had to offer. So I went back to night school and did the GCSEs and A-levels that I didn't do when I was supposed to do them. And then I moved on to a degree at Portsmouth University, where I studied civil engineering. But then I worked for a consultancy in London for about 3 years. And then I sort of fell into further education. I'm a bit of a show-off. I'm a bit of a talker. I didn't quite fancy sitting behind a computer screen for 11 hours a day working on design programs and crunching numbers. So at the time, further education really appealed to me. So I started as an assessor, then a lecturer, then a middle manager, and now I'm in the heady heights of being a head of construction. I just feel that generally construction gets a bad deal. It gets a bad rep with society at large. I think it's considered far too often a fallback.
Okay.
I think it's considered as something that naughty boys and girls do. Maybe those that are not academically strong. Now, I was a perfect point in case. I wasn't necessarily academically strong. I just didn't appreciate school. I saw school as somewhere that I met my friends, not somewhere where I went to study. So I didn't have my parents very working class, and they didn't really push me academically. But I just think that if people were to take a step back and to think what construction has done for millennia with regards to how it's formed societies and how it's formed our societies and our skylines, from the pyramids to the Parthenons of Athens to the skyscrapers that dominate every major city in the world. Yeah, we do have people that bang nails in wood and lay brick on brick, but construction as an industry has got so much more to offer. It's got so much opportunity for young people, and that's from people that maybe are not academically as talented as someone that will go on to achieve A-levels and degrees. But across the whole range, it doesn't matter what your character or what your ability is, there is something in construction that will appeal to you. That the diversity of role and the opportunity in construction is fantastic. And I just think we get a bit of a bad rep. I think we get a bit of a bad rep with, I need to be careful what I say here, with some teachers in schools. I think we get bit of a bad rep with parents, certainly with some sort of establishments at higher education and society at large. I mean, how we're depicted in social media or in the press or even in popular culture. You know, look how often we turn on Coronation Street and see how a builder's depicted in Coronation Street. You know, they're usually overweight, they're usually politically incorrect, they're usually poor timekeepers. And people don't build kilometre high structures that are any of those things.
Yeah.
So it's provided me a fantastic living for the last 30 years. I've been fortunate enough to start at the grassroots levels with an apprenticeship, and then I've worked with some of the cleverest and brightest minds in the country, professors at university and people that work in the sector from a design perspective. And now I'm in further education, and I just think that there isn't enough people like me really trying to highlight what construction is and what it can offer young people, especially in today's climate.
I totally agree. Sorry, Gareth, go.
I was going to say, yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And I think you're right. I think people do kind of paint that brush as, the naughty kids go into construction and things like that. And, aren't as academically strong, but at the same time, so my brother, so he's not academically minded in the slightest. He ask him to sit down and write an essay and it won't happen, but he's actually a mechanic. Ask him to take something apart and figure out how it works and put it back together, and he's done it like that. It's not necessary. I think that's the problem. It's not about people not being academically inclined one way. It's about them being more the other way, and people don't see that as a good way to be, I think, which is the problem.
Yeah, I think that, again, I don't want to be political, but I think 20 years or so there was a certain politician that really, I think his mantra is education, 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 and we can see the uptake in universities has increased by 50% over the last couple of decades, which is fantastic. I can't knock that because I went to university. But we are struggling. I mean, I speak to employers all the time, and there is data out there that over 50% of the current construction employees are struggling for skilled labour. So 50% already, because there's just not that turnover of people coming into it. And what I say to young people today is, because I know there are lots of drivers why people go into their careers. So they're good with their hands. They want to travel the world. They want to work with people. They want to be creative. But I'm not completely driven by money. But money is an important element of society, and the money to be earned in construction, because people aren't coming into it. The people that are coming into it that are good, I say to applicants, they're like diamonds. They're difficult to find. So when you find them, they're valued. And at the moment, construction is only second for young people to the finance sector with regards to entry salaries. I've got apprentices, second-year apprentices, that are driving BMWs. I've got a 60-year-old Ford Focus. I don't know where I'm going wrong. Honestly, I've got apprentices that are driving 18-plate reg BMWs, 3 Series.
Wow.
They're going out with their father and they're earning £1,800 a week.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So I think maybe a career change, Stu?
Well, see, my entry into the working world was a little bit like Steve's. My dad said, get a trade and you'll always have a job. And unfortunately, the 80s happened. We went into the 90s and there was massive upheaval, both in society and the job market. But I trained as an engineer. I worked as a mechanical aircraft and production fitter for the MOD, and then went into private industry. It wasn't for me, but I loved the challenge of fixing a problem. I still do. I finding a problem, a really knotty one that I can get my head around, understand all the elements, and then put in place a fix, whether it's a business problem or a website problem, a coding problem, that kind of thing. And I think there are two things. There's two reasons for that. One, I had some of the best instructors in the world, hands down in the world at the time, just the best. There was no expense spared at the MOD back then. They would just fund and fund and fund. And the second one was, those instructors They engaged your mind as well as taught you the skills. So you just, to pass on those skills, you need a skilled person that leads you, that really inspires you, that makes you connect with, we do it this way, the slow way, because when you take shortcuts, this is what happens. Or if you are going to take a shortcut, you still know how to do it the long way, so that you know why that shortcut has worked. And it's people like yourself, Steve, that we need. We need those people out there in society saying, these are the skills. And you're right, you know, there is a negative connotation for a lot of reasons with builders, teachers, nurses. This lockdown has shown us how we need those people. And if nothing else that comes out of it, it's that kind of higher standing in society as people go, yeah, perhaps that shopkeeper or shop worker is actually an essential part of my life. And without them, I don't get to eat. I don't get to do what I need to do. So, you know, hats off to you and your team for inspiring that next generation of builders, plumbers, carpenters, and tradespeople.
I hope so. Well, I really do. But I mentioned about roles. I mean, we talked. I can't remember if it was live or not, but we talked about wood being a great material to work with. I mean, when I did my apprenticeship a million years ago, back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was all about, as you said, when you were doing your aeronautical training, it was always about solving that problem, following a process, creating or producing something. But, you know, construction used to be the worst polluter with regards to the materials it uses, the waste it produces, how those materials are produced. But over the last 20 years, I've seen significant change about how, as a sector, we are cleaning up our act and how we are really thinking about how we impact on the environment. So again, how we produce materials, where we source materials, how we transport materials from A to B, from where they're produced to where they're going to be used, the packaging we use, but the actual building itself. I mean, I know double glazing's been around the years, but how we insulate buildings now, how we use energy. I mean, the FSC is a perfect example of how we. I mean, I think there are about 6 radiators in that whole building.
Wow.
Because how the building has been insulated, and when you drive past it, those lovely windows, they're expensive. They're about £4,000 a pane, but they've got a very thin lining in that radiates the sun back out. So when we had that really hot weather last year, it was sort of 37 degrees. My car park, my tarmac was blistering, but I was walking around in the FSC with a shirt on, with no air conditioning, quite comfortable.
Wow.
So they've even because when you go around the back, they've got the big sheet steel panels that are black. So obviously, if you had that, it'd be 100 degrees in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So they were even thinking about where they orientated the position of the FSC. So it's in perfect parallel plane with the arc of the sun. So it follows the sun from the front of it in a perfect parallel form. So all the heat that's coming down from the sun is bounced straight back out again.
Wow.
So you know, 20 years ago, they wouldn't, if they had a choice, they wouldn't think about where they position the FSC in relevance to the arc of the sun. No. And of course, because they're using those great big windows, we don't have to use any artificial light. So we're reducing the energy we're using for powering our light. So that sort of mindset with all new builds and all refurb or renovation of old buildings, we're considering all these things now. So every qualification, whether it's down from a level 1 or to a level 7, will have some sort of form of design and environmental context within that qualification. Why are we building buildings as we are? How can we save energy? How can we reduce the impact on the environment? So every major company in the country has got people working for them thinking about this, thinking about the natural environment, thinking about the habitat, thinking about energy use. So, you know, it is a good opportunity to earn great money. It is a good opportunity to travel the world and work in part of a team. But we really are, I think we're a really forward-thinking, innovative, modern industry that, again, going back to what I said before, we sometimes don't get represented as that, and it makes me quite frustrated. This is why it goes hand in hand with my passion.
it's fantastic. If you've not seen the building, it is a very large building, and it is a testament to those technologies and those skills that you've mentioned, that it is able to run with just six radiators. I didn't know it was that small. I knew it was very energy efficient, but that's incredible. And it's also incredible that the construction industry is able to retrofit a lot of these technologies into older buildings. And whilst they can't really do anything about maybe the actual structure of the building, they can go some way to mitigating the structure of the building in the new technologies they put in. So I always look forward. You know, I've got electric car. I love the idea of a flexible grid. I love all of those technologies, and whilst I don't think they are the total answer to everything, they are certainly a step on to allowing us to reserve those fossil fuels for the things that we really need them for. Thank you for joining us today, Steve. We're nearly out of time, and I could talk to you endlessly about this, and I know you always are so passionate about it. So thank you for coming along.
My pleasure.
And sharing your skill. Will you stay with us? We're going to do a little bit of local news, and then we'll wrap up. So I've got to confess, it's been a bit of a slow news week. I always try and find positive news, so there's quite a lot of negative stuff out there, but this is a thing that I found, and we don't usually touch on the coronavirus and all of the bits of it, but I found this bit of news, and I wanted to share it with people because it really is an exciting thing, that there have been no new coronavirus deaths recorded across any of the hospitals in Hampshire, and that was on the 13th of June.
Wow.
So, you know, we've really turned a corner there. So good work, people, with lockdown and social distancing. Let's keep it up. Let's keep those numbers low as we possibly can, locally, definitely. And if anybody has lost a loved one, you know, our thoughts and prayers go out to you, and we sincerely hope that this easing of lockdown helps you with your grief. But other news, national news, Domino's Pizza have trialled new vegan dough and 2 new recipes. We really are out of lockdown. Woo! I can have a Domino's pizza. I noticed that it's vegan dough, it's not gluten-free. So I you know, pick your poison for me. Gluten-free and vegan would be the best.
It's not all about you, Stu.
Oh, but it's Zoe's.
Personally, I could eat pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know that I shouldn't, but I could.
Yeah, my waistline can attest to that.
Yeah, what do they say? Pleasure on the lips.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, a moment on the lips, lifetime on the hips.
And we're back to National Fudge Day.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite pizza topping, Gareth?
Oh, bacon.
Ooh, bacon.
But like
bacon.
crispy bacon. Like I can't be the flappy stuff. It has to be crisp, like a crunch.
Okay. My son last night decided to have a hot cross bun with bacon in it.
Nice.
And maple syrup.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'll take his word for it.
Oh, bacon and maple syrup is a golden mixture. I mean, it's just incredible.
No, I know bacon and maple syrup. You know, I get the concept, but in a hot cross bun.
Who stumbled across that? That's one of those kitchen accidents. I'll tell you another one. Carrot cake. Who thought I'm going to put some vegetables in this baking mixture? Where does that come from?
No, or Reese's Pieces, chocolate and peanut butter. Who turned around and thought chocolate and peanut butter should go together?
Yeah, that's a natural fit.
Say that because
I've got a chocolate bar and I've got a pot of peanut butter.
There may be some cooks out there that have stumbled across these things during lockdown, and we may have a new generation of food combinations because chefs have been in the kitchen just throwing, I don't know, cauliflower and jam together, or Rice Krispies and broccoli. I don't know.
I'll give it a go. I'll try cauliflower and jam. I'll let you know how it goes.
Broccoli and cauliflower and lemon curd.
Oh, actually,
could work.
On that culinary bombshell, I think we're going to walk away from this. Thank you so much for sharing with us half an hour of your time, Steve. I know you're a busy man. You've got a lot to do on your to-do list. So we're going to say goodbye, and thank you so much for coming and sharing your passion for what is clearly an expanding and lucrative business if young people are looking for a career. So thanks for coming down today. Gareth, what have you got on for the rest of the day?
Oh, I've got a nice big list of things to get done, so that's a nice, exciting.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for listening. If you've got any comments or feedback or any links you want to post them under us. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much, Steve. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.